I'm Azaria Tagaya. This is Nightline. Here are the headlines. Bersatu's bank accounts frozen to facilitate probe. Federal territories to be transformed into smart cities by 2030. And air pollution worsens in Bangkok. Good morning. Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki has confirmed that several bank accounts belonging to Bersatu have been frozen by the graft buster. This was to enable the MACC to investigate funds believed to have been obtained from illegal proceeds. According to Tan Sri Azam, the probe is being conducted under the MACC Act and Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act. He added that a number of witnesses will be summoned to facilitate investigations. It is believed that the action is related to the MACC's probe into the alleged misappropriation of 600 billion ringgit in funds used by the government when the country was dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. On December 6th, Tan Sri Azam said the MACC had opened an investigation paper into the alleged misappropriation of the funds by the previous government during the pandemic. Meanwhile, Bersatu Secretary-General Datuk Sri Hamzah Zainuddin said the party will continue to cooperate with the MACC with regards to the freezing of the party's bank accounts by the Commission. In a statement on Wednesday, he said Bersatu had accepted that the MACC took these steps as part of its investigation process. He added that Bersatu leaders and party officials who have been summoned by the MACC to give their statements have also been asked to give their fullest cooperation in the probe. Bersatu Vice President Datuk Sri Ahmad Faizal Azumu also has spoken up on the matter, confirming that the party's accounts were indeed frozen more than 2 weeks ago by the MACC. He added that the party has given its full cooperation to the MACC and hoped that the rule of law will prevail. In the meantime, the MACC stressed that the government's political will and institutional reforms are needed to tackle the country's corruption perception issue. The graft buster believed that these two are the main factors that contributed to Malaysia's poor score in the 2022 Corruption Perception Index (CPI), which reduced by 1 point from 48 in 2021. In a statement on Wednesday, MACC Director of Policy, Planning and Research, Datuk Muhammad Hafaz Nazar, said the agency also believed that the National Anti-Corruption Plan 2019 to 2023 (NACP) needs to be reviewed so that emphasis can be given on high-impact initiatives which can lead to significant and rapid changes to the level of governance, transparency, integrity and accountability. He added that this will effectively support the ongoing fight against corruption and abuse of power and indirectly bolster the government's commitment in addressing people's issues and its efforts to recover, stabilize and strengthen the country's economy. In addition, Dato' Hafaz said in the 12th Malaysia Plan, the government also accepted the CPI as a basis for measuring the good governance of the country and had set targets for improving Malaysia's position by 2025. He pointed out that if the targets were made into key performance indicators at all levels of ministries, departments and agencies on a shared responsibility basis, Malaysia would be able to achieve a much better CPI position. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah wants the government to double its efforts in preserving the well-being of the people and developing the federal territories as distinguished and sustainable cities. His Majesty also expressed hope that assistance to the poor and low-income groups in the federal territories can be given special focus by the government. Al-Sultan Abdullah, in his royal decree in conjunction with the 2023 Federal Territory Day at Istana Negara on Wednesday, decreed that the effort of preserving the well-being of the people can be done by increasing job opportunities and helping to reduce the cost of living that has been burdening the urban poor. The King also expressed his concern with the flash floods that often hit Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Labuan, which, according to His Majesty, should be dealt with immediately, as it not only has a bad effect on the people, but can also affect economic growth.
Justru pembangunan hendaklah sentiasa seiringan dengan inisiatif pemeliharaan alam sekitar dan pembangunan di kawasan tinggi serta berbukit, termasuklah di kawasan yang menjadi tadahan hujan, haruslah turut dikawal selia.
The Yang di-Pertuan Agong also expressed his appreciation for the proactive efforts and initiatives by the Federal Territories Department in improving the standard of living and easing the burden of its citizens through the implementation of various programs. Sultan Abdullah also urged all ministries, the Kuala Lumpur City Hall and the city folks to maintain the cleanliness and beauty of the city. During his loyalty speech at the investiture ceremony, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the government aims to turn the Federal Territories into smart cities by 2030. He said this was in line with the concept of Malaysia Madani, which also emphasised the aspect of sustainability with the concept of green city and smart city.
Antara program lain yang telah disusun ialah penggunaan bas elektrik Kuala Lumpur, Wangsa Maju sebagai bandar perintis rendah karbon, penambahan pemasangan CCTV di Kuala Lumpur dan Putrajaya, serta pemasangan Wi-Fi di projek perumahan rakyat dan perumahan awam di Labuan.
The Prime Minister added that the Federal Territories Department has also drawn up a development agenda for the future in a sustainable, livable and smart manner. Apart from that, he said flood mitigation efforts would be continued in line with the flood mitigation plan that has been prepared. Meanwhile, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong on Wednesday conferred federal awards, medals and honours on a total of 164 recipients. Agriculture and Food Security Minister Datuk Seri Mohammed Syabu led the list of 7 recipients who were conferred the Seri Mahkota Wilayah SMW Award, which carries the title Datuk Seri. Also conferred the Seri Mahkota Wilayah was Prime Minister's Department Senior Deputy Secretary General Datuk Seri Solehuddin Al-Yubi Zakaria. Meanwhile, 15 individuals received the Panglima Mahkota Wilayah PMW Award, which carries the title Dato'. Among the recipients were the Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry's Chief Enforcement Director Dato' Azman Adam and Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Dato' Azmi Abu Kasim. Phase 1 of the repair work on the track structural damage of the Ampang Line Light Rail Transit LRT service near the Bandaraya station is expected to be ready in 2 weeks. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said the damage would be repaired by Prasarana Malaysia Berhad together with an appointed consultant.
Ia melibatkan beberapa fasa, ada fasa pendek, fasa dan fasa panjang. Fasa pendek ini mungkin mengambil masa 2 minggu. Untuk mengambil masa 2 minggu untuk kita pastikan betul-betul supaya ada perbaikan dan pastikan struktur itu selamat untuk digunakan. Kemudian akan kita buat fasa panjang untuk memastikan struktur itu kukuh.
Loke also said that the Ampang line was still in operation and only the stretch between the Bandaraya and Masjid Jamit stations was closed. However, shuttle buses will be on standby for passengers who want to travel between both stations. He also apologized to commuters for the inconvenience, adding that he will continue to monitor the progress of the repair work, but maintained that this needed to be done for their safety. It was reported that the LRT service on the Ampang-Sri Petaling route was disrupted on January 27th over safety factors after the track alignment was found to be kinked near the Bandaraya station. Rapid Rail Sendirian Berhad said preliminary checks found that the LRT service delay was caused by damage to the flyover structure carrying the rail tracks due to construction work adjacent to the area. The federal government, through government-linked companies, GLCs, under the Finance Ministry, is looking to rent or lease idle state land to implement modern agricultural projects. Its Deputy Minister, Datuk Seri Ahmad Maslan, said this is part of the government's efforts to ensure food security in the country.
Itu cadangan balas saya tadi dalam dialog. Apabila pengarah belanjawan maklumkan pada saya bahawa keperluan itu ada, maka antara perkara maklum balas yang agak pasti bahawa kami ingin menugaskan GLC kami di bawah Menteri Kewangan diperbadankan yang mempunyai keuangan yang mencukupi untuk membangunkan tanah-tanah terbiar.
Datuk Seri Ahmad said this to reporters after a dialogue session with the Negeri Sembilan state government, which was also attended by Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Aminuddin Harun. The minister added that the 2023 budget will focus on issues such as cost of living, employment, strengthening the economy, implementing institutional reforms, disaster management and narrowing the development gap among states. The public can also provide feedback on the budget via the ministry's special website until February 10th. The Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry will take firm action by revoking the licence of travel agencies if they are found to be flouting the rules. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Tiong King Sing, said this amid claims that some local travel agencies were buying flight tickets in bulk in order to resell them at higher prices. Datuk Sri Tiong said the ministry has conducted an investigation into the issue, including holding engagement sessions and discussions with travel agents.
Kesihatan yang betul, memang itu travel agent kita akan ambil tindakan. Ya, we will rule out, we will cancel the license. Kalau dia jalankan dia punya menjaga ataupun dia punya bisnes tidak ikut undang-undang.
Met by the media after a working visit to the Sarawak Contingent Police Headquarters in Kuching, the minister said he would issue a statement once he has obtained complete and detailed information about the matter. It was recently reported that several local Umrah travel providers were alleged to have been buying flight tickets in bulk at wholesale prices from airlines, which they then resold at much higher prices in order to make a hefty profit. The Kedah Legislative Assembly can only be dissolved after June 18th to pave way for a state election. Its Menteri Besar, Datuk Sri Muhammad Sanusi Mat Noor, said this was based on several factors, including the fasting month, Aidilfitri celebration, the Hajj season and the Aidil Adha celebration prior to that. According to Datuk Sri Sanusi, PAS would decide for itself on the date to dissolve the state assemblies in the three PAS-led state governments without discussing the matter with states under Pakatan Harapan, PH. Although PAS will not make a joint decision with PH, he still hoped that all 6 states would be able to hold their elections simultaneously. The 3 states that PAS governs are Kedah, Kelantan and Terengganu, while Selangor, Negeri Sembilan and Pulau Pinang are led by PH. If the state polls are to be held simultaneously, they have to be held within 60 days, which is between June 1st and July 31st. The slowing global growth. Will Malaysia avert a recession this year? To ensure the people's well-being and the economy, how to whip up practical solutions fast. Malaysia's near-term focus on the economy and consumer confidence. Also on China's reopening and monetary policies. I will be speaking to the World Bank this Saturday at 5 p.m. only on TV3. When we come back, Bangkok air pollution on red alert. Welcome back to Nightline. On to the foreign news now. The air of Thailand's capital remained at unsafe levels on Wednesday as the fine particulate matter, PM2.5 reading, reached an average of 72.5 micrograms per cubic metre. Data from the Bangkok Air Quality Information Centre showed 80 air quality monitoring stations reporting unsafe levels of air pollution. 4 stations detected red levels of PM2.5, which could penetrate deep into the lungs and cause premature death from lung and heart conditions, especially especially among the elderly and those with health complications. The 4 stations where red levels of PM 2.5 were detected are in Bang Na, Perawet, Nong Kea and Bang Bon. The air quality in the city is believed to have been worsened by agricultural burning and forest fires. In the UK, 500,000 workers went on strike on Wednesday, calling for higher wages in the largest such walkout in over a decade, causing widespread disruption. The mass walkouts across the country will see schools close, the military on standby to help at Britain's borders, and no rail services running across much of the country. Union leaders estimate over 500,000 people will be taking part in the strike, and there will be more rallies against a planned new law to curb strikes in some sectors, a proposal they argue will poison relations further. With inflation running at more than 10%, the highest level for 4 decades, Britain has seen a wave of strikes from health and transport workers to Amazon warehouse employees and Royal Mail postal staff. They are all demanding above-inflation pay rises to cover rocketing food and energy bills that they say has left them stressed, feeling undervalued and struggling to make ends meet. Meanwhile, French Labour Minister Olivier Dussopt on Wednesday said that raising the retirement age to 64 was non-negotiable. Speaking a day after more than 1 million people marched in protest at the proposed measure and after a union leader called for rolling strikes, Dussopt said that if the country does not change the retirement age to 64 from 62, the pension system will not break even. Opinion polls, however, showed that a substantial majority in France has opposed the move that President Emmanuel Macron argues is vital in ensuring the viability of the pension system. Earlier, it was reported that a total of 1.272 million people took part in the protest nationwide on Tuesday, a slight increase from the first nationwide demonstration on January 19th. In the meantime, at a joint news conference at the end of the march on Tuesday, union leaders said they would organize more strikes and demonstrations against the reform on February 7th and February 11th. In other news, at least 14 people, including 10 women and 4 children, were burnt to death, while 18 others were injured after a major fire broke out in a high-rise residential building in India's eastern state of Jharkhand on Tuesday. According to authorities, the blaze erupted late in the evening after an LPG cylinder exploded on the 2nd floor of Ashirwat Tower. Authorities managed to get the blaze under control after nearly 4-hour operation. The multi-story building has been cordoned off and an investigation into what caused the fire is now underway. This was the 2nd deadly fire incident in the same area in the past 4 days. Welcome back. On to sports now. Malaysia now has a representative in the International Football Federation, FIFA. This after Football Association of Malaysia FAM President Datuk Hamidin Muhammad Amin was elected as one of the FIFA Council members during the Asian Football Confederation Congress in Manama, Bahrain on Wednesday. He becomes the fourth Malaysian to become a council member after Lim Kee Seong, Tan Sri Hamzah Abu Samah and Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah. Datuk Hamidin's term is from 2023 to 2027. The other FIFA Council members from Asia are Kozo Tashima, Mariano Araneta Jr., Sheikh Hamad Khalifa Al Thani and Yasir Al Misal. Still on football, the Liga Portugal. João Mario scored a brace to help leaders Benfica to beat Aroca 3-0 in their round 18 clash. Benfica took the lead 25 minutes after kick-off when João Mario finished off a fine team move involving 3 players. Another spectacular move led to Benfica's second 9 minutes after the interval. Frederick Auschnitz's back flick found Mario, who sent a low effort that found the bottom corner of Aroca's net. Petar Musa finally put the result beyond doubt 10 minutes from time, sealing a convincing 3-0 win. The result saw Benfica leading the standings with 50 points, while Aroca stood in 7th with 24 points. English Premier League side Chelsea have signed Enzo Fernandez from Benfica for a British record transfer fee. The Blues agreed to a $129.3 million deal to bring the 22-year-old Argentina international to Stamford Bridge after a month-long pursuit. He is the most expensive signing in Premier League history, eclipsing the $123.17 million that Manchester City paid for Jack Grealish in 2021. Fernandez made a name for himself during the recent World Cup in Qatar. He helped Argentina win their 3rd world title, ending Lionel Messi's career-long wait to lift the prestigious trophy and winning himself the tournament's Young Player Award for his efforts. Meanwhile, Manchester United have completed the loan signing of Austrian midfielder Marcel Sabitzer from Bayern Munich. The 28-year-old joins Erik ten Hag's squad until the end of the season following Christian Eriksen's long-term injury and a short-term problem for Scott McTominay. Sabitzer, who was previously club captain of RB Leipzig, has made 443 career club appearances across Europe, including 54 appearances for Bayern since joining in August 2021. He's also scored 12 goals in 68 appearances for Austria. Without Eriksen, who has been ruled out until the end of April with an ankle injury, and McTominay, Ten Hag had been left with only 2 fit central midfielders, Casemiro and Fred, for the upcoming games against Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. 7 arrested over 1 million ringgit of Syabu. This and more after this short break. Back with us on Nightline. Pulau Pinang police have busted a drug trafficking syndicate with the arrest of 7 men, including 5 members of the same family. In the operation carried out last weekend, authorities also seized more than 41 kilograms of Syabu worth 1.5 million ringgit. The operation at 2 separate locations was carried out by a team from the State Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department following a tip-off. State Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Shuhaili Muhammad Zain said the first arrest was carried out at 8:45 p.m. on Saturday, involving 5 men, all family members, aged between 26 and 54, at a house in Pokok Sena. The team seized 11 green plastic packets of Chinese tea and 2 transparent plastic packets, all containing powder and slabs of Syabu weighing more than 11 kilograms and worth more than 412,000 ringgit. Following that, police raided a kiosk at Pusat Bandar Bertam at about 8 a.m. on Sunday and arrested 2 more men aged 41 and 47. In the second raid, police seized 30 green plastic packets of Chinese tea, which actually contained powder and slabs of Syabu weighing 30.3 kilograms. The syndicate has been active since the middle of last year, and the drugs were meant for the local market. Besides the drugs, the team also seized 4 vehicles worth 470,000 ringgit, as well as 1,000 ringgit in cash. Urine tests on the 5 family members came back positive for methamphetamine. Checks also showed that 5 of the 7 men arrested had previous records. All 7 men have been remanded for 6 days until February 3rd. In Sabah, the remand period of 8 policemen, including 4 senior officers held in connection with the murder case of an e-hailing driver in Tawau, has been extended for another 7 days. Magistrate Zul Ilmi Yunus allowed the extension of the remand order beginning Thursday at the Tawau District Police Headquarters on Wednesday. Prior to this, Sabah Police Commissioner Dato' Idris Abdullah said that the murder was motivated by jealousy and did not involve security issues in the state. According to him, the wife of the deceased has been charged at the Tawau Magistrates Court under the Penal Code for murder. It was reported that 33-year-old Nurima Juli, who is unemployed, was charged on January 30th with killing 61-year-old Nurman Bakaratu. The offence was allegedly committed in an oil palm plantation near Jalan Anjur Juara, Jalan Apas, Batu Lima in Tawau on January 13th. In Malacca, an unemployed man was charged in the Jasin Magistrates Court on Wednesday with the murder of a senior citizen last month. 20-year-old Peter David only nodded when the charge was read out to him before Magistrate Tan Chai Wei. No plea was recorded as murder cases are under the jurisdiction of the High Court. The accused was alleged to have murdered 91-year-old Misah Mat Amin, who was believed to have been living alone in her house at Kampung Pulai Darat, Merlimau on January 20th. The body of the victim was found in the kitchen of the house. The charge under the Penal Code provides the death sentence upon conviction. The court set March 8th for case mention. Argentina stepped into the world of Frida Kahlo for an immersive experience that allows viewers to take a closer look at one of the world's most iconic painters. Full of bright and colourful projections that bring the art of Frida's work to life, attendees were surrounded by Kahlo's famous paintings like The Two Fridas, Me and My Parrots, and Diego on My Mind. Let's take a look at the legendary art pieces as we wrap up Nightline this time around. I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.